catching a flight to California at 5 o'clock from Washington Dulles Airport. The rest of the men have a good 7-8 hour drive. So keep that in mind. They're going to start tearing down, but they'll certainly entertain most of your questions and talk about infantry back in camp. Thank you folks for coming out, supporting our living history, and look for the 2019 calendar, the 21st Georgia Company B. They'll be coming. We're trying to get you right around the first weekend in June, so look for them then. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
I tell you what, they do a fine job. And they've always, for years, did such a fine job that they make my stay with them on the weekend very stress-free and very low-key. So to talk to you about the weapons and tactics of the infantry, I'd like to introduce you to someone who's been coming with the 21st Georgia for many years, knowledgeable on the weapons and the tactics that the infantry deployed during the American Civil War. I'm going to share that knowledge with you. I'd like you all to meet Mr. Stuart McClung. Stuart.
Thanks, Tom. Welcome to Gettysburg National Military Park. We are very glad you're here. We assume you were here to learn, and we're here to help educate you and enlighten and inform you. So what we're going to do here today, I'm going to show you how the men learn to load their weapons, but then we're also going to do 3 individual evolutions of firing, plus a 4th one we'll throw in there as a bonus. In the meantime, though, I do want you to know that the 21st Georgia did fight here at the Battle of Gettysburg. We did most of our fighting on the first day over by the Gettysburg College campus, and then spent most of the rest of the battle in reserve on the outskirts of town, down below Cemetery Hill. So at any rate, we're going to get things started. When the guys first got into the Army, obviously you have to learn to load your weapon. And what we're going to do here first is show you how they went through that process. And they're going to load, what we call, they're going to load in 9 times, which means they're going to load in 9 individual steps. Once they learned those, they knew what to do when they got into battle. When you get that point, you don't necessarily have to follow each and every one, because you're trying to hurry loading up that weapon so you can be ready to fire at the enemy. Now, most of these are single shot muzzle loading weapons, 1 cartridge, 1 cap. And then you have to go through the same process again each time. So, Captain Rose, if you would, load 9 times.
Attention, company. Company, prepare to load in 9 times. Load. Company, handle, cartridge. Tear, cartridge. Charge, cartridge. Draw, rammer.
Now, as a safety thing, we don't normally draw our rammers when we're in a reenactment,
cartridge.
because it's dangerous. You might forget it's in there and pull the trigger and it goes off flying down the field. So we'll do it here to show you what they went
Turn, rammer. Cast, about. Prime. Shoulder, arm. Left wheel, march.
Now, the first demonstration is going to be firing by company, which means everybody's going to shoot at the same time. When they do that, though, it puts you in a vulnerable position because everybody's unloaded at that point, and the enemy can then charge you and drive you. Yeah, watch your hearing.
Company, prepare to fire by company. Company, ready! A! Over. Fire! Load!
So, like I say, now they're reloading, they're vulnerable. So, that will get you a mass amount of firepower down range. But in order to keep the enemy from getting to you, what they'll do now is to fire by rank. There's a front rank and a rear rank man. So when the front rank man fires, or men fire, then they can be covered by the rear rank man as the front rank guys are reloading.
Yeah, makes sense.
At least you get some firepower down range at all times.
On shoulder. Company, prepare to fire by rank. Rear rank, ready. Aim. Fire. Load. Front rank, ready. Aim. Fire. Load.
All right, last evolution is called firing by files.
Load and
The
shoulder.
front and the rear rank men are a file. First file, second file, third file, right on down the line. And that's what they're going to do when the officer gives the command to fire by files. They'll start at one end and work their way down. And if you can imagine thousands of muskets, right on down the line. Once again, this gives you some firepower down range, at the same time you're keeping the enemy away from you.
About how far would they be? 50 yards from there?
The enemy? As many as 300 or 400 yards.
How far were these guns accurate to?
About 300.
Wow, 300 yards?
They shoot farther, but it's a question of accuracy
Right.
at that point.
Company, prepare to fire by files from the right. Company, ready. Commence firing.
Over. Fire! Fire! Over. Fire!
Cease fire, cease fire. Load and shoulder.
Able to load pretty quickly.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and up to this point we've been doing fire by the drum, which is get a drummer to do it, but drummers left, so we don't have them. But we will go ahead and do you one more fire by company. So I want to point something out there. See those rear rank guys? When they come over the shoulder of that front rank guy, they have to step over a little bit and actually come between the two guys in the front. But that musket still has to be positioned properly in order to avoid giving those front rank guys possible muzzle blast or having a cap snapped in their ear. I've had that happen to me, and it is painful. My ears are still ringing 20 years
Did
later.
they have earplugs in? Did they put cotton or anything in
We
there?
could use them, but back in those days, they would have used like a thing of cotton or maybe
Okay, right, yeah,
a
right.
piece of cloth or something.
Right.
Company, prepare to fire by company. Company, ready. Aim. Fire. Prime.
Yeah, see, if you can imagine thousands of muskets going off at the same time, it's a little hard for the officers to have themselves heard. So that's why they would communicate commands by the drum.
Ready.
Oh.
Aim. Fire. Recover. R.
Now that's a safety thing. It's just called
Shoulder.
capping off to make sure that all the weapons have been
Company.
discharged.
Left
Because we
wheel.
don't want to go back to camp with a loaded weapon.
Right.
March.
We try and be as safe as we can. Guy last month at the big battle reenactment, the cavalryman shot himself in the
Company.
head
Halt.
with a pistol. Yeah.
Order.
Pretty.
On.
Was it true that women were part of the infantry? Or is this just,
Sometimes,
Oh.
but they had to disguise themselves.
wow,
They had to bind their breasts and
right.
make sure they kept all their clothes on so that you could hide the hips and that sort of
Wow.
thing. So, but anyway, we want to thank you all for being here. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. We're from Holland. How many people were fighting here during the battles?
Here at Gettysburg was
Yeah.
150,000 or so.
And how many people got killed?
Killed was several thousand, but they had.
6,000, they said.
Yeah, I was going to say, but they had a total of about 51,000 total casualties, wounded and missing and captured.
Oh, right. And how big is this area where they fighting for?
How many acres in the park? 6,000 acres. I was going to say 3, but.
You know an acre. Well, tell them what an acre is.
All right. Anyway, we want to thank you all for being here. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I'll let him go.
Yeah, you're all cordially invited to come back over the road to camp. You can get a closer look at the weapons and the uniforms, ask questions. We have a hospital over there. You can talk to the nurse. See if
Thank
she can
you.
fix what ails you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.